We go to Long Island. Glenn, welcome to the Line of Fire.
Hello.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, how are you?
I'm blessed.
Good. Listen, Michael, I know your topic is grace today. I'm just talking about grace, specifically to LGBTQ, and some of your critics, Michael, who feel that, Michael, some people feel, that a spiritual predator, like you behind a microphone, poses a far greater danger to women and children than any predator that women and children would ever meet in any bathroom. How would you respond to those critics, Michael?
What do you mean by a spiritual predator?
Well, it's not my words. This is their words. I'm just relating to you what, your critics, they say a spiritual predator is basically an apostate or apostate.
Or maybe they'd accuse me of laying guilt trips on somebody or condemning innocent people or driving people to despair and suicide. I answer with the truth, Glenn. I say here's how I answer the critics. The message that we bring is a message of life and hope and transformation and salvation. The message that we bring is a message of the love of God. The message that we bring is that Jesus died for gay and straight all alike, and that all of us can be cleansed through his blood.
Michael, where's the grace to writing a book? Where's the grace in writing a book, A Faggot Thing Happened to America? Is there any grace in that at all?
I didn't write that book.
What book did you write?
I wrote A Queer Thing Happened to America because queer...
What's the difference? All right, a queer thing, what's it,
Oh, yeah, well, hang on 1 second. Yeah, I'm glad to talk with you, Glenn. We've got a break coming up. But I used the title. I talked to many gay people about the title. They all thought it was a funny title. Because queer, that's the whole thing. Queer has been normalized. You ever hear Queer Eye for the Straight Guy? It's old. Associated Press, 2003, said queer is mainstream. It's hipster now. So this is old school. You can do queer studies, queer identity, gender queer. Elementary school kids learn about this in some places. That's why I use the word.
Here again is Dr. Michael Brown.
Welcome back to the Line of Fire. Hey, Glenn, are you still there, sir?
Yes, I am, Michael.
Great. Yeah. So let me just give you an example. If anyone took the time to read A Queer Thing Happened to America, and again, I use the word because it's become mainstream. If it was offensive, I never would have used it. And that's why I talked to plenty of gays, lesbians about it, even chatted with, they all laughed. They thought it was a clever title. Nobody was offended by the title except some conservative Christians who weren't in touch with the times. But anyone reading the book would say, wow, you really understand LGBT perspective. You really lay it out clearly. And here's an example. A gal named Amber. I only know her through Facebook. Okay. When she started coming on Facebook, she identified as bisexual. Okay. She's reading my book, Can You Be Gay and Christian? Just posted this last night. I just wanted to say that I'm grateful for people like you who speak against homosexuality, but with tact and full of God's love. I still haven't finished your book about Can You Be Gay and Christian. However, I would like to state it is very logical and full of God's love at the same time. On the page, you also speak out against homosexuality, but do so with tact. On your Facebook page, you speak out against homosexuality, but do so with tact, love, and it is evident you care about gays. You weep over them. You take soul winning seriously. And even though you are imperfect like the rest of us, you truly give it your all through Jesus to help gays accept the truth. And she goes on, sharing her own story and how she no longer identifies as bisexual. So that's why I answer him with the truth. I said just...
All right, that's fine. But what about Rachel Held Evans, New York Times bestseller list? And Rachel will tell you straight out she has friends at LGBTQ who she says, I'm going to give you her words, Michael, that has experienced the absolute worst that the church has to offer. So you're telling about all these gays and they're going, oh, Michael, this is great. But there's many of the LGBT, Michael, that have been offended by you. Is there any grace in that?
No, there's not. There's not grace on their side. Absolutely not on their side when they come out with hateful. You should see the hate I get, the vilification.
Let's not lay it on them. Let's not just lay it on. We're talking about your side, not their side, Michael.
There's always grace on my Glenn. Glenn, there's always grace on my side. Always, 24/7. In fact, yeah, Glenn. Would you let me? Would you let me talk? Would you let me talk?
Sorry.
Okay. All right. We're good. We're good. All right. Number one, I've reached out to Rachel Held Evans, invited her on the radio show several times, and wrote a gracious, open letter to her. She's always declined to come on. That's number one. Number two, right. I have for over 10 years apologized publicly, even in the presence of several hundred gays, lesbians, and on national TV and other settings. I have publicly apologized for the failings of the church in their insensitivity to the struggles of those who identify as LGBT. I start off my book, Can You Be Gay and Christian, with the goal of breaking the heart of the church and showing how we have often been insensitive, how we've painted them as the worst of sinners, and on and on. When I deal with transgender issues, I always say the goal is to help people from the inside out. No one would just choose to be like that. They obviously have struggles. I've gotten on my knees and wept over these issues and said, God, I don't want to hurt people. And I know if I tell the truth, no matter how loving, people will get upset. I want to help people, not hurt people. So I take these things very, very seriously. And no doubt, Glenn, there are people that are upset with me when I say that two men or two women marrying is not marriage in God's sight. No matter how gently I say it, I will offend people. I understand that. But Jesus embodied grace and truth together. So,
all right, so Michael, your war with LGBT is real or imagined? What is it? Is it real or imagined? Your private war with LGBT, real or imagined?
I don't have a private war with anyone.
All right, so it's imagined. It's imagined.
No, I have differences with gay activism. I love gays and lesbians. Your average.
Michael, did Christ die for gay activists?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
What is the problem with loving gay activists?
I do love gay activists. Are you not listening to me?
Why do we separate them from the rest of the LGBT community, Michael?
I didn't. I said I differ with their... Glenn, you're not listening. See, that's the problem. People don't listen. That's the big problem. And by the way, for someone who's just using somebody else's words, you're doing a great job. It almost sounds like you feel this way yourself. If I didn't know better, I'd think that you feel this way yourself. But let me answer.
I don't want to be. Go ahead, Michael. I'm talking over you, Michael. No good.
Hey, we're both New Yorkers, but let me speak here. We're both.
Michael, I'm going to be honest with you. I am sensitive about these issues. You know, I just can't isolate a people group.
But I'm not isolating anyone. I'm not isolating anyone. Here's what. Glenn, just listen.
All right,
Glenn. This is not working. You keep apologizing, but this is not working. So please listen, sir. Please listen. All right? I did not start this. I did not start getting gay curriculum in schools, beginning in nursery schools, where there's a nursery school right in my home city, where for years now, the teachers in the nursery school cannot say boys and girls because that's making a gender distinction. Instead, they have to call everybody friends. I didn't start this. I didn't start this where when you go to a Christian photographer and say, we would like you to film our gay commitment ceremony or a gay wedding, and the photographer says, no, I'm sorry, I'm a Christian, I can't do that they get fined and they lose their job. I didn't start that. I didn't start with the threats and the intimidation coming from gay activists and their allies. So for 11 years now, my philosophy has been very simple. Reach out and resist. Reach out to the people with compassion. Resist the agenda with courage. So in North Carolina right now, we're in the thick of an issue where we don't think it's a good idea for biological males to come into the ladies' locker room and shower room at a YMCA. So that doesn't mean I hate anybody. It means I care about the women and the children. So, Glenn, what am I saying that's not gospel? What am I saying that's not Jesus?
What about the people who want to get beyond that and get on with the Great Commission and the Great Commandment? To be bogged down in all these issues, yesterday's headlines, tomorrow's headlines, the next day's headlines. When do you get around to the Great Commission, the Great Commandment of extending grace to your fellow sufferer?
Hey, Glenn, tell you what. As we sit here right now, the school that I founded has raised up a missions movement that has missionaries all around the world, day and night, preaching the gospel. As I speak, they are serving the poor, winning the lost, rescuing children. Hey, Glenn, every day of my life, I am involved in the Great Commission. I fly to England this weekend, not to speak about social issues, but to preach the gospel. I'm involved in Jewish outreach day and night, and I'm doing what Jesus said, which is being salt and light. So, tell you what, I got a recommendation for you. Instead of you getting all upset with me for doing what God called me to do, how about you going out and winning souls and not wasting your time attacking me with a phone call? Does that sound like a good idea? And if your kid or grandkid comes home saying, Daddy, Grandpa, there was a man in my bathroom, say, hey, just preach Jesus to him. My bottom line today, the grace of God is not grace without responsibility. All the more are we responsible because of grace. Thanks so much for joining us today on The Line of Fire. In the first hour, at the end of the first hour, I got a fascinating phone call from a fellow on Long Island who asked me, what about grace towards the gay and lesbian community? But asked some very aggressive questions, asked about, what about folks who call me a spiritual predator and hurt? I mean, just bizarre stuff, and misquoted the name of a book that I wrote. And it sounds as if he believed all these things, but he was saying, why deal with social issues when we should just give ourselves to the Great Commission? I said, well, we reach out to everyone. We reach out to everyone with love, compassion. We tell the truth to everyone, and we stand against gay activism. We can do both. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. Joey, grab clip number 6. I want you to hear this. In response to caller Glenn from Long Island, who said, look, many gays and lesbians are offended with my positions, or offended with what I say. I said, look, I'm going to speak the truth, but I'm going to speak it with grace. I can't help them for being offended, but I will not be personally offensive. I want you to hear from this caller named Chase, a man who had struggled with homosexuality. I want you to hear what he has to say. Clip number 6.
I'm actually an ex-gay individual myself, and it was definitely great that you were able to put that face forward. Certainly there's going to be people from the gay community listening in and put that face forward that, you know, we are not all angry hate mongers. I'm grateful and I'm very appreciative for the work that you do and the work that you're putting forward, because it's really helping people like me to come and step out into the light and tell my story of what's been going on in my life and how God has been working a miracle in me. So I'm so grateful that you were able to do that civilly.
Yeah, and Chase was talking about a conversation I had with Professor John Corvino. He is a philosophy professor. I've interacted with him face-to-face and by phone. Seems like a genuinely nice guy. He is out and proud as a gay leader, often addressing these issues in writing. And he and I had a very civil conversation about some of these very issues on the air, after which Chase called, as someone who came out of homosexuality, to thank me for the civility and tone of what I do and how I do it. So look, Jesus embodied grace and truth together. And that's what we have to do. We don't forsake grace for the sake of truth. We don't forsake truth for the sake of grace. We bring grace and truth together as one. We are not offensive in what we say and do. The truth may offend people, but we are not offensive in our tone, in our demeanor, in our attitude. And then let the chips fall where they may. People are still going to hate you. People are still going to revile you. People are going to say all kinds of things about you, but let it be that they say them about you falsely. Let it be that they say them about you falsely because you are walking in love and concern. Look, if you go to a doctor and the doctor sits you down and says, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but we've discovered a very, very serious condition. We're going to need emergency surgery, and we're going to have to do our best to get you through this because it's life-threatening. you're not going to be happy that he told you that, but you know he doesn't hate you. You know he's motivated by love. So I would think that a young man like Chase, who wrestled with homosexuality, has a better perspective on what I'm saying and how I'm saying it than this gentleman Glenn, who just seemed to drink in what the critics have said without basis. Grace and truth together. Boy, what a powerful package.